Hey, all, and welcome to week 12 of our Survivor picks. Congratulations if you're still a part of your leagues. It's been a really tough time coming along. And if you looked ahead into week 12 at all, you know that this is one of the, if not the toughest weeks picking involved in Survivor. So let's take a look and get after it and try to make it to week 13 this year. As you see, very different than normal. Even the top team, the highest favorite team all week are the Cowboys at only -7, which is very odd. Most times in most weeks, we have at least a handful of teams favored by double digits, really outranking their opponents. But this week, a lot of tight games again, with the Cowboys being the favorite with only a 76% chance to win, according to the math there, that money line. So a lot of tough games this week. You can see that I have to even throw down teams to the -3, -3.5, which isn't very normal for the other teams at the bottom of the list. It's gonna be really tough pickings with one, maybe not even having these top teams available, and also just the unpredictability this week, as a lot of games are supposed to be very close. We'll look at the schedule preview as we always do, but I really don't think the schedule matters this much looking ahead to later weeks because of the fact that this week is so difficult and the games are going to be so tight. You really just want to focus all your efforts on getting past this week because this is where it's going to be make or break for a lot of people. I'm expecting a lot of people that are still alive in the Survivor League to get knocked out this week just because of the craziness of these games. So it's imperative to worry about this week, especially, and maybe a little bit less on later in the year, because you're not going to make it later in the year if you can't win in week 12. So teams that I recommend that you at least think twice about picking if you have the ability to. I'm going to start with the Bears here. They're on the road against a divisional opponent. Always a scary matchup when you're seeing that. The Lions haven't had a win all season yet, which you could think is a case for the Bears. But every week that goes along that the Lions don't win, I like them in closer games more and more, especially when they're at home on Thanksgiving, their tradition, and Ford Field. I just think that they have so much to play for, and the fact that they just can't be a team that ends the season with 0 losses, especially under Dan Campbell, their coach that there is so endeared there in Detroit by the players and the fans. They're really playing for him more so than just another or a win in the W column. You know, it's very demoralizing to go a whole season without a win. I think that's added pressure and added motivation for the Lions. It's going to kick in sometime. I think Thanksgiving Day at home against a division rival is a perfect time for that to kick in. Also, the Bears have been dealing with a lot of injuries. Khalil Mack's out for the season, obviously their best player on defense and possibly on the whole team. And then now Justin Fields, left the game against the Ravens with a rib injury. I would be surprised if on a short week he was able to get back in there and play, especially or at least at full health. He's definitely not going to be the player he has been if and when he plays that game. And if Danny Dalton's there, you really don't want to be picking the Bears in your Survivor League in week 12 with an Andy Dalton-led quarterback against the road against a divisional opponent, no matter how bad the Lions seem to look all year long. Same story here. The Eagles, not even as big as favorites as the Bears were, but the same deal on the road, playing a divisional opponent. By the time this video is recorded, the Giants have not played the Buccaneers on Monday Night Football. I don't think that the game's going to go too well for the Giants because I think the Bucs were so due for a win with Tom Brady, trying to avoid 3 straight losses under the lights, primetime game with Brady. I think they're going to go out and beat up on the Giants. But regardless, I wouldn't read too much into that when you're taking a look for your Survivor pick. Again, road team against a divisional opponent is scary. The Giants are starting to get more and more healthy with getting like Saquon back and a few other receivers. I just think that, again, you can see this is the lowest favorite game I have in this list, just -3. The Eagles are looking hot right now, but if you had any other pick, I would take anyone else in this list besides the Eagles, except maybe the Bears. I just think it's very dangerous to go against a divisional opponent on the road, especially with how unpredictable the NFC has been this entire season. The last one I'd suggest to at least to think twice about is the Bills, who I do think is going to win this game. But you can tell that the 3 teams I'm talking about to proceed with caution are the road teams. If you've been paying attention this year at all, you've noticed that a lot of times when the big chunks of people and the big groups of people have gotten knocked out in Survivor, it's because they picked a favorite that was playing on the road. It's something about traveling to a different stadium and then having that whole team having that home crowd advantage is just very indicative and very supportive for an upset. So although I do think the Bills are a good team, I think they're going to bounce back against the Saints. You know, they haven't looked like themselves. They just got blown out by the Colts. While the Saints haven't looked very good, I still just would think twice about this game. I'm definitely more confident the Bills winning than I am like the Bears or the Eagles. But just road games this whole season have caused trouble. And even when it seems like a sure thing, a lot of the times this season, Teams that have been favored by more than 10 points have gone on the road and lost. So just something to think twice about when you're picking a team for your survivor that's playing on the road. The best pick this week, a lot of you probably think it's the Cowboys as their favorite, but I think it's the New England Patriots, who are the hottest team in football right now, especially with the way their defense is carrying them. They're at home. They're playing the Titans, who just got beat up by the Texans, who are one of the worst teams in football, which we kind of predicted anyways. It's them coming off a bye week being competitive. But the Titans are just really riddled with injuries, with Julio Jones not playing. Obviously, Derrick Henry out for the year. Their backup McNichols, a running back, is out too. Couple key players on their defensive line are hurt. They're just really struggling. And without all these players, especially without Derrick Henry, that offense is looking for its identity. It's very one-dimensional in the pass game. And it's one thing that's going to happen with a Belichick-led defense. He's going to take away your first option and make you beat him with your backup players or your non-star players. So I expect J.C. Jackson and Bill Belichick, that whole defense, to take away A.J. Brown as Ryan Tannehill's number one option, and they're going to make the Titans score points from anyone else besides A.J. Brown. I don't think they're going to be able to do that. In addition, the Browns defense isn't very great, as you can tell by how the Texans were able to put up points on them. They really haven't been able to put up points against too many people this entire season. So Patriots are going to keep doing the Patriots do, rely on the strong run game, do like small checkdowns and crossing routes, then pick up a lot of yards after the carry to inflate Mac Jones' stat line. But as long as he's not making mistakes and not forcing the ball downfield, the Patriots are winning with this formula with a great run game, solid decision-making from their quarterback, and a great defense. I think because they're at home too, Belichick seems to thrive in Foxborough so much. I don't think the Titans are going to beat this game, and I think the Patriots are going to win this game by a lot more than this 5.5 point spread. Then a good pick too. Like, again, you might not have the Patriots. It's week 12. There's a lot of teams that you already picked already. If you can pick the Cowboys too, I think that's a good pick. They didn't look that great against the Chiefs. That offense, who was number one of the league coming into week 11, was unable to really put up a lot of points and even get in the end zone. I would be surprised though if they repeated that kind of performance, especially against the Raiders, who are kind of reeling a bit themselves. Coming off a loss, Cowboys know how good they are and how talented they are. The only thing I would keep an eye about is their health and their availability of their wide receivers. Their two-star wide receivers are Amari Cooper and CeeDee Lamb, but did not play, at least Cooper was out the entire game and Lamb got knocked out in the game. So those guys really keep that offense humming. So if they're not playing, then definitely be careful about taking the Cowboys, but you might not have an option regardless of their health anyways. There's not a lot of great picks this week. If you can, go to the Patriots first, and then if not, go with the Cowboys. I think if you don't have those two guys, Ravens, because they're at home. I know they're against a divisional opponent, but if Lamar Jackson's playing, which he should be, I don't know how many illnesses to keep a guy out for more than about 10 days. Lamar Jackson's playing. I think they're going to beat the Steelers, who, while they did compete against the Chargers here on Sunday night, I don't think they're really equipped to beat this Ravens team, which is going to rely a lot on the run game. And then it's so hard to stop Lamar Jackson, especially when he just gets going in the run game. I don't think the Steelers are going to beat the Ravens, but these old school AFC North matchups are always unpredictable too. So be careful with that Ravens game. Pick the Cowboys or the Patriots if you have the opportunity. If not, maybe dive into the Ravens or the Bills. And look, again, I'll put the schedule preview in the end. We got a lot of teams. I included the Bucs on there. I forgot to take them off. That I just don't think it really matters right now at this point, looking ahead in the season, just because this week is so difficult. Again, I just take the team while you have and take this win while you can. I know the Cowboys and the Patriots have other good games the rest of the season, whereas teams like the Ravens, Bengals, Bears don't. I don't think it matters that much. I would just take the guarantee, or the closest thing to a guarantee this week, which is, again, the Patriots and the Cowboys. If you made it this far in Survivor in week 12, you've been doing really great. But hopefully I can help you get a little bit further and win you guys leagues respectively. I hope you enjoyed the video. Like and subscribe. If you did, let me know in the comment section what teams you have left. If I didn't cover any teams that you're considering taking, ask me about it in the comment section. I'll give you my opinion on that too. But as always, best of luck in week 12, and hopefully you can make it on to week 13 in your Survivor leagues.